What being rich looked like in the 1960s. The 1960s, an era of dreams and aspirations where even the smallest conveniences spoke volumes about success. Back then, things that seem simple today, like an extra bathroom or a dishwasher, weren't just conveniences. They were coveted status symbols. Life was completely elevated for families who owned these modern marvels. Join us as we explore the subtle yet powerful signs that showed you were living a luxurious life in the 60s. Today, let's dive together into the stories of quiet wealth from a bygone era. And perhaps you'll find a piece of your own memories or those of your loved ones in the symbols below. Let's get started. The dishwasher, the future in the kitchen. In the 1960s, owning a dishwasher in your kitchen made people think you weren't just lucky, but that you were living a luxurious life. Imagine this. Back then, most families still had to wash dishes by hand after every meal, a time-consuming and effort-intensive chore, especially for large families. The arrival of a machine that did it automatically felt like a gift from the future, a technological miracle that freed up the hands and time of the women in the family. A dishwasher wasn't just a practical appliance, it was a bold statement of class and financial capability. It gleamed like a chrome trophy under the kitchen lights, whispering to every guest that this family could afford both leisure time and advanced technology. This was by no means a cheap investment at the time, a luxury only families with extra cash in the budget dared to consider. Every time the dishwasher's motor hummed softly, it wasn't just the sound of convenience, but a symphony of prosperity, bringing comfort and allowing the family more time to gather after a long day instead of rushing around the sink. It was a symbol of a well-ordered life, where mundane chores were automated to make way for precious family moments. It showed that you not only had enough money to buy it, but also enough to pay for your convenience and time, something many in the 60s could only dream of. Color TV, especially more than one. A magic window to entertainment. In the 1960s, few home upgrades garnered more admiration than a color television. Think back to those widespread black and white TVs which could only display a monotone world with two basic shades. Then suddenly, the color TV appeared like a marvel, transforming familiar entertainment into something vibrant and magical. Shows like Walt Disney's Wonderful World of Color became an entirely new experience, a visual feast many had to visit a neighbor's house to behold. Color TVs at the time were very expensive and novel, so not many could afford them. It wasn't just an entertainment device, but also a luxurious piece of furniture, often placed prominently in the living room, with its wooden casing carefully polished. But if a family had more than one TV, that truly signaled they were rich. Imagine a color TV in the main living room, and a black and white or even a second color TV in the bedroom or family room. This not only spoke to superior financial capability, but also demonstrated a priority for entertainment and personal convenience in every living space. Families with multiple TVs became the neighborhood's focal point, where friends and neighbors frequently visited to watch colorful movies and music shows together. The presence of a color TV, especially more than one, transformed the owning family into an attractive destination, a symbol of modern and affluent living. It didn't just buy fun, it bought admiration and social standing. 2 bathrooms, the ultimate personal convenience. Most homes back then were built with just 1 bathroom, so if your house had 2, it was simply unbelievable. Imagine the typical 1960s morning scene. Everyone lining up, waiting to use that single bathroom. Congestion, rushed moments, and sometimes even small squabbles were unavoidable. That's why the presence of a second bathroom in the house wasn't just a convenience. It was a revolution in family living. A second bathroom offered more privacy and made mornings run smoother for everyone, from brushing teeth and washing faces to getting ready for school or work. It eased the pressure, creating comfort and privacy that many families couldn't achieve. Furthermore, adding a bathroom was a significant expense, covering not only construction costs but also expensive materials, plumbing systems, and fixtures. Owning a home with 2 bathrooms was a clear sign of wealth, not just materialistically, but in the ability to provide a more convenient and comfortable life for family members. It implicitly stated that this house was not only spacious, but also designed to meet every need of a large, prosperous family. It was an investment in quality of life, a declaration of the comfort you deserved. Central air conditioning system, stepping into a cool future. Stepping into a home with central air conditioning in the 1960s was like stepping into the future. Recall those sweltering summer days of the 60s when most people endured stifling heat or relied on noisy, inefficient oscillating fans or window air conditioners. These window units often took up a large part of the window space, created bothersome noise, and only cooled a small area. But with central air, cool air spread quietly and evenly throughout every corner of the house, providing a wonderful sense of comfort and relaxation. Central air conditioning made a home feel luxurious and modern, transforming it into a cool oasis amidst the scorching summer heat. This was a significant investment, not only in terms of complex initial installation costs, but also substantial monthly utility bills. Being able to afford to keep a home constantly cool and comfortable was a clear sign of prosperity. It not only provided physical comfort, but also symbolized an upscale lifestyle, where the family didn't have to worry about electricity costs or battling the heat. Central air conditioning was an affirmation that you could live a much more comfortable life than the majority. A quiet pride felt every time you opened the door to guests entering your cool home. A private room for each child, the first private space. In the 60s, many children had to share bedrooms, sometimes 2 or 3 kids in one room, or even on cramped bunk beds. So the idea of each child having their own private room was a big deal, a luxury not every family could provide. This not only showed that the family had enough money to buy a larger house with more space, but also that they were investing in each child's individual development. A private room gave children their first sense of privacy and independence. It was a sacred space where they could retreat, study, play, and decorate their room in their own style, expressing their personality and interests. It was a place where children could develop self-reliance and responsibility. Having a private room also demonstrated parents' consideration for their children's individual needs, something not always prioritized in that era. It also conveyed the truth that your family had enough space for every member to breathe, enough room for space not to become the source of daily squabbles. This brought peace and order to the family, a privilege many large families could only dream of. 2 living rooms, a sign of prestige and luxury. Having not just 1 but 2 living rooms in a home was a subtle yet clear sign of prestige and class in the 1960s. Imagine a typical house with a single common living area, but if you had 2 living rooms, it meant your home wasn't merely a dwelling but a miniature mansion, designed with clearly defined purposes. One room was usually reserved for daily family use, where everyone could relax, watch TV, or chat comfortably. The other, however, was a formal space, carefully arranged for entertaining guests, hosting important gatherings, or simply showcasing the homeowner's refined taste and wealth. Sometimes the furniture in this formal living room was even covered in plastic to keep it pristine and stain-free, making the room even more special and opulent. It showed that the family not only had excess space, but also the means to decorate beautifully and maintain a luxurious living environment, bringing a sense of prestige to the home. 2 living rooms were proof that your family could afford to divide spaces by function, creating a clear boundary between personal living and social entertaining, demonstrating an organized and stylish lifestyle. 2-story house, the architectural symbol of prosperity. In a decade dominated by single-story ranch-style homes designed to sprawl across one level, a 2-story house stood out distinctly and powerfully. It didn't just offer more space, it was a confident symbol of financial stability and prosperity. These homes often featured additional bedrooms for larger families, or special functional rooms like a home office, a reading nook, or a separate entertainment room, which were hard to come by in single-story houses. Sometimes they even came equipped with an intercom system, allowing family members to easily communicate between floors without having to shout. A modern convenience at the time. Owning a 2-story home brought a new sense of separation and privacy, especially with common living areas on the first floor and bedrooms on the second. This created a clear boundary between public and private spaces, bringing comfort and peace to each member. This was a symbol that your family had more options in arranging living spaces, unconstrained by size or structure. A 2-story house was not just a major asset, but also a work of architecture, a prominent highlight in the neighborhood, reflecting the homeowner's aesthetic taste and financial capability. It was an affirmation that you not only had enough money to buy a large house, but also the vision to build a luxurious living space, surpassing the common standards of the era. 2 cars in the garage, especially a Cadillac. Freedom and style on every road. In the 1960s, having 2 cars in the garage was a sure sign of ultimate success and convenience. Most families back then had only 1 car to meet basic needs like commuting, grocery shopping, or picking up children. Owning a second car was not just a luxury but a significant investment, including the cost of purchase, insurance, gas, and maintenance. 2 cars brought substantial convenience and freedom to the whole family. Mom could go shopping or pick up the kids without waiting for Dad to come home from work, or vice versa. Dad could use the other car for work without affecting the family's schedule. This demonstrated a well-organized and convenient life, where all activities ran smoothly. And if one of those cars was a Cadillac, that was the ultimate symbol of supreme luxury. A Cadillac wasn't just transportation, it was a dream on wheels. It was admired for its sleek appearance, bold design lines, and smooth ride, providing a high-class driving experience. The Cadillac was a strong statement of social status, showing its owner was successful, had refined taste, and could afford the very best. Parking 2 cars, especially a Cadillac, in the garage not only showcased financial capability but also affirmed an upscale lifestyle where convenience and style were always prioritized. Among the home and vehicle conveniences mentioned, which item would have made you feel most proud if your family owned it in the 60s? Share in the comments below. Riding lawn mower, turning chores into pleasure. In the 1960s, having a riding lawnmower transformed yard work from a strenuous, effort-intensive chore into a leisure activity. Imagine your neighbors sweating with their noisy, heavy push mowers under the scorching sun, while you comfortably sat on your riding mower, effortlessly gliding across a vast lawn. These machines were very expensive at the time, a major investment that not everyone could afford. Owning a riding lawnmower showed that the family not only could afford the best tools, but also had a large enough property for the machine to be truly useful. A perfectly manicured lawn, lush and even, was a clear sign of pride in the home and the homeowner's prosperity. And having the means to maintain it so perfectly was a clear demonstration of wealth, showing you had the financial capacity to invest in both convenience and the beauty of your outdoor living space. The riding lawnmower symbolized a relaxed lifestyle where heavy labor was replaced by convenience and efficiency. It implicitly stated that you not only owned a substantial property but also had the time and means to maintain it perfectly, a privilege many could only dream of. In-ground pool, the ultimate backyard success symbol. By the mid-1960s, nothing screamed success more clearly and ostentatiously than owning an in-ground pool in your backyard. This wasn't just a recreational amenity. It was a bold statement of financial capability and an upscale lifestyle. Imagine hot summer days while everyone else flocked to crowded public pools. Your family could enjoy privacy and coolness right in your own garden. These pools were not only expensive to install, requiring costs for excavation, building materials, complex filtration systems, and professional labor, but also demanded hefty monthly maintenance fees and utility bills to ensure continuous cleanliness and operation. Hosting pool parties became a way to flaunt this luxury to friends and neighbors, turning your home into the hub of fun and classy gatherings. An in-ground pool was far more luxurious than a temporary above-ground pool. It brought an eternal beauty and sophistication to the landscape. It was irrefutable proof that you not only had enough money to build it, but also to maintain a lavish recreational lifestyle. Owning an in-ground pool wasn't just a personal amenity, but also a social symbol, asserting your family's status in the community. Flocked Christmas tree, sparkling holiday pride. In the 1960s, a Christmas tree sparkling with artificial snow, as if it had just arrived from the North Pole, was a special and unique highlight of the holiday season. While most families still decorated traditional green Christmas trees, a pristine white tree covered in glistening snow exuded a distinct and luxurious beauty, creating an ethereal and elegant festive atmosphere. This tree was more expensive than a regular Christmas tree, and a luxury not everyone could afford. Buying a tree was already costly, The process of treating it to create the perfect artificial snow layer was even more expensive, not to mention shipping and storage costs. Therefore, placing this tree in the front window of the house not only demonstrated the family's pride in their holiday spirit, but also served as a subtle way to showcase their prosperity and refined aesthetic taste. It brought joy and admiration to the entire neighborhood, as passersby would stop to admire its dazzling and unique beauty. A flocked Christmas tree was not just a decoration, but a statement of financial capability and attention to the smallest details in life, even during sacred holiday moments. It showed that you not only had enough money to buy the best things, but also the spirit to create a truly special and memorable Christmas season. Do you have any special memories of visiting a home with 2 living rooms or a private room for each child? Please share. Hi-fi sound system, entertainment hub and style statement. In the 1960s, a hi-fi sound system was more than just an audio device. It was a full-fledged status symbol, often placed prominently in the living room for all to admire. Imagine a large machine, integrated into an elegant wooden cabinet, typically walnut or mahogany, meticulously polished to look brand new. It wasn't just where music played, it was a luxurious piece of furniture, reflecting the homeowner's sophisticated taste and trendiness. Purchasing one of these systems cost a substantial amount of money, equivalent to a considerable portion of an average family's savings. This cost included not only the main equipment, but also the growing collection of vinyl records you'd need to fully enjoy high-quality music. A hi-fi system delivered a vibrant and authentic sound experience, a rarity at a time when regular radios and record players couldn't offer similar quality. It transformed the home into a miniature concert hall, where family and friends could gather to enjoy their favorite tunes with superb audio quality. Owning a hi-fi sound system was a sign that you not only had money to spend on luxury items, but also a passion and understanding of entertainment artistry. It was a way to display an upscale lifestyle, an investment in refined and valuable experiences. Wearing a fur coat, a silent fashion statement. Wearing a fur coat in the 1960s wasn't just about staying warm. It was about silently proclaiming social status. In an era where winter clothing was mostly practical and simple, fur was reserved for those in higher social strata, a pinnacle fashion item not everyone could attain. From mink and fox to leopard coats, each type carried its own distinct beauty and value, reflecting the wearer's wealth and style. The price of a fur coat could rival an average family's annual grocery bill. This was a colossal investment in attire, and its preservation and cleaning also represented a separate investment, requiring special care to keep the fur soft and lustrous. When a woman donned a fur coat and stepped into a luxurious restaurant or a social gathering, she immediately became the center of attention and admiration. The coat not only provided warmth, but also exuded nobility, elegance, and a distinct class. It symbolized a lavish lifestyle where money was no object when it came to fashion and self-expression. Wearing a fur coat was a silent affirmation of the wearer's success and standing, a way to demonstrate you were living on an entirely different level. American Express card, the golden key of the elite. Using an American Express card in the 1960s was more than just a payment method. It was a distinctive sign of social differentiation and class. Most people back then still used cash or checks for daily transactions. Credit cards were still a new and not widely adopted concept. American Express, with its long history and reputation, positioned itself as a brand for the affluent and successful business class. American Express was marketed specifically to the elite, with significantly higher annual fees compared to other cards, if any existed, and a stringent approval process, requiring applicants to have substantial income and assets. This further heightened its mystique and exclusivity, turning the card into a prestigious badge. Pulling out an Amex card at a luxurious restaurant, a high-end hotel, or a designer store would create a strong impression on staff and those around you. It implicitly suggested that you were a member of an elite group, those with unlimited spending power and trusted by a leading financial institution. An Amex card wasn't just a payment tool, but a pass into a world of luxury and privilege, a clear symbol of the owner's superior social standing and financial capability. Air travel, the first-class experience in the sky. Air travel in the 1960s was rare and reserved for a select few. For most families back then, a vacation meant packing up the car and taking a long road trip to a nearby destination, often camping or staying at local resorts. Airplanes at the time were still considered modern, high-speed, but extremely expensive modes of transport. Airplane tickets were incredibly costly, making air travel a rare luxury. The expense of a flight could be equivalent to several months' salary for an average family, not to mention the cost of accommodation and other services at the destination. The flying experience was seen as first class, from the in-flight service with delicious meals and comfortable seating to the courtesy of the cabin crew. Airports back then also had their own glamour with modern architecture and a luxurious atmosphere, frequented only by those with status and financial means. Being able to boast about an airplane trip to Florida, California, or even abroad wasn't just about recounting a vacation. It was a declaration of your success and ability to enjoy life. Air travel was proof that you not only had enough money to go, but also enough time and freedom to explore the world, a privilege reserved for the truly wealthy. If you could bring one of these symbols of wealth from the 60s into the present, which would it be and why? Having a housekeeper, a life free of household chores. Hiring a housekeeper in the 1960s was a clear and unmistakable sign of wealth. In an era where most homemakers did all household chores themselves, from cooking, cleaning, and laundry to childcare, having a housekeeper meant the family could afford to hire someone to manage the home, significantly freeing up the homeowner's time and effort. This allowed the woman of the house more time to pursue personal interests, engage in social activities, or simply relax and enjoy life without worrying about mundane tasks. A spotless house, always perfectly clean and tidy, showed that the family cared about appearances and had high living standards. The presence of a housekeeper not only ensured the home was meticulously maintained, but also served as a clear symbol of a lavish lifestyle where every convenience was met. It implicitly suggested that your family had abundant financial resources, enough to pay for comfort and support in daily life. Having a housekeeper wasn't just a convenience, but a social statement, affirming that you belonged to a privileged class where your time was valued more than doing tiresome chores yourself. It was an investment in quality of life, a testament to ultimate success. Sending children to private school, investing in a golden future. Sending children to private school in the 1960s was a clear, unmistakable demonstration of a family's wealth and ambition. Most families back then relied on the free public school system, and private education was a lavish option reserved for those with exceptional financial means. Private school tuition at the time was very high, not to mention other incurred costs like uniforms, textbooks, extracurricular activities, and voluntary contributions. However, investing in private school offered numerous superior values. Private schools typically had smaller class sizes, higher quality teachers, and curricula specially designed to maximize students' potential. Furthermore, attending private school provided important social connections, strict discipline, and a polished image that lasted long after graduation, opening up more opportunities in the future. This was a strong signal that your family not only had sufficient financial capability, but also the foresight to invest in your children's future and success, ensuring them the best educational foundation and a wide network of connections. Sending children to private school was proof that you were willing to pay any price for your children to have the very best, a symbol of wealth not just in material terms, but also in intellect and aspiration. Owning a yacht or recreational boat, the ultimate symbol of display. The ultimate symbol of ostentation and an elite lifestyle in the 1960s was owning your own boat, especially a large yacht or a luxurious recreational boat. This wasn't a common hobby, but a lavish lifestyle, a costly pleasure that only those with immense wealth could even consider. While many had to save every penny to buy a car or a small house, you had the means to own an asset that floated on water. The cost of owning such a boat was very high, including not just the initial purchase price, but also continuous maintenance costs, fuel, especially for long trips, docking fees at luxurious marinas, and expensive insurance. All these expenses combined explain why only the affluent could afford one. Owning a yacht allowed your family to explore beautiful waters, host elegant parties on the water, or simply enjoy relaxing afternoons on the lake in style. This was a clear declaration of financial freedom and the ability to fully enjoy life. A yacht was not just a means of entertainment, but also a symbol of power, success, and an unrestricted life, where you can go anywhere you want in the most luxurious way. Owning a vacation home lost lake house, a declaration of financial freedom. In the 1960s, owning a vacation home or a lake house was the ultimate and clearest sign that you had made it in a superior way. While most people focused on paying off their single mortgage for their primary residence, for those fortunate enough to own a second property, it was a bold statement of immense wealth and unlimited financial freedom. The second home was often located in beautiful spots like the coast, mountains, or by a lake, providing a perfect escape from daily life. Owning a second home required significant maintenance costs, furnishing expenses to equip it fully, frequent travel costs between the two locations, and often doubled everything from bed linens and dishes to utility bills. This was not only a substantial investment, but also a considerable financial burden that only truly wealthy families could bear without difficulty. A vacation home was proof that you not only had enough money to live comfortably, but also enough to enjoy life, to take long vacations whenever you wished, without worrying about renting rooms or finding accommodation. It was a symbol of an elite lifestyle where relaxation and recreation were paramount, and you had the means to turn that dream into reality. Isn't it fascinating how small things could say so much? From convenient dishwashers to lavish fur coats, from sleek Cadillacs to luxurious vacation homes, these treasures told the world you had made it big in the 60s. Each item wasn't just an object, it was a story of prosperity, of dreams that became reality in a dynamic era. And do you recall any other items we haven't mentioned in this video? Or do you have any special memories related to one of these symbols of wealth? Please share your thoughts and memories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next nostalgic journeys. Thank you so much for watching.